What up? All right, welcome to Crown Council live stream. I'm Stuart Anderson, joined with Spencer Chipping. Hey, Chip.
Hey, Stu. Hey, everybody.
We're grateful to be here. It's become a real fun routine for us to interview some of our Crown Council members, connect with our community, and just spend a few minutes together with what's happening out there in Crown Council membership. So grateful for live stream. We're half a year through some of our recordings. I think we almost have 25 live streams dating back to March, and just a lot of great moments and people that we've met. So thanks for tuning in. Chip, I love that t-shirt. It's one of my favorites.
Stu, as you mentioned that, I am so stoked as we start getting ready for this. When the fall comes, it's like the annual event is coming.
Yep.
And this morning I was like, I could smell it in the air. You get the coolest t-shirts at the annual event.
I know we had a member, Chris Proctor, he made us he made himself a giant blanket out of all the t-shirts. And then Marcy here at our office made the same one for Greg for his birthday of all of our fun t-shirts over the years. So anyway, very fun. Hey, we're going to jump right into our first guest. Laurie Spitz is in the waiting room. We're going to bring her in. I know she's got a little time crunch for work. So we're going to just bring her in right now and have her join us. Laurie is part of a mastermind group that Spencer helps moderate. These are some of the leaders of practices, whether it's office managers or office directors or marketing directors. All these different people are part of a mastermind group that, work together, talk about their practices, share best practices, and are part of a group that have kind of worked their way into being together. So let's see. I think I see Laurie. Let's make sure her audio and video are on. Yeah. Hey, thumbs up. You're muted.
I did unmute it, but it didn't unmute.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good.
Nice to see you. Long time.
We gave you a little introduction, but it wasn't very flowery. I know you're calling us from Smile, Boston. Will you just give us a brief introduction to where you're working, a little bit about your practice?
Sure. So we are just right outside of Boston. We're in Brookline. We used to be in Boston until we had to move because they were tearing down the building. And we have been around for 25 years. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary in October. We're having a big bash. And I wrote out this whole thing to tell you, but I don't know how much you want me to tell you.
No, that was good. That was perfect. How long have you worked in the practice?
24 years.
Okay.
So it's my husband and my practice. We started, obviously, like I said, 25 years ago. What I wanted to do, I had my own company, but our office manager at the time got sick. Her mom got sick, and I had to jump in. And so that started my career with the office in dentistry.
Very good. Well, I know we brought you on. You agreed to be on to talk a little bit about your mastermind group. Could you share a little bit about how that group runs and why you are a part of it?
Yeah, we've had the mastermind group now in one form or another for 6+ years. Spencer, you would probably know better than me.
Yep.
We had one person who started it, and it takes a lot out of that individual, and then somebody else took it over, and it has been absolutely fantastic. What I love about the mastermind group is that we really have the opportunity to share a lot. Ours is a little bit different. I mean, I don't know about others. We have about 6 people now who are on it most of the time. Like always, at least about 6 people who are always on it. I am the only business owner / office manager. I don't really play the role of office manager anymore. I have an office manager, but what we've found through the years is that we really it's been really fantastic for me to be able to share sometimes what an owner is thinking and coming from that space, and this has happened a couple of times where somebody has said something and I'm like, okay, let me tell you what they're thinking. And they were like, wow, never thought of it like that before.
Hmm.
And in the same respect, I've said to them, as an employee, what do you think? And do you think this is a good idea, bad idea? And so it's really been a phenomenal idea to be able to play off of each other and to really, for me anyway, and for them, to get it a little bit differently than just a bunch of office managers. And we actually, after this period of time, we have a really great relationship as well. So
Nice.
Yeah.
What has been maybe your biggest takeaways, if you could look back at your mastermind group, that you've learned from being part of that group?
oh geez.
Uh-oh.
Biggest takeaways. But that's a big one. I hate to pause here. I'm just trying to think.
No,
You know-
pause away. It's okay.
Yeah, one of the major things about the mastermind, if you're talking about a takeaway from the mastermind, it really is that in one respect, everybody all over the country. I mean, we have people from California to me in Boston, right? So and everywhere in between. We meet once a month, and everybody's in a different time zone. Everybody's sort of got their own specialty, if you want to call it that. And after this period of time, we actually talk a lot outside of it as well. So like I'll call Kim for something and say, hey, you told me about this in a conference or in a call once. Tell me a little bit more about this because we're thinking about doing this in the office. Or, somebody will call me and say, you know what, I'm having this issue with my owner. What do you think is the best way to handle this? And so, like I said, after all this time, we have a really good relationship, but everybody has a different, everybody has something different to add to it, but no matter where you are in the country, it's pretty much the same. And the great thing about our mastermind, is that, this is not a sales pitch, is that we're all part of TOPS, right? So we all have the same verbal skills, we all use our DISC, we use the same terminology, and along the same lines, we all have, if you end up working with TOPS and the Crown Council in the first place, you're of a different mindset from the beginning. So, what we do and how we talk is very different than if you're in a mastermind group somewhere else, just a bunch of dentists. It's very
Got it.
different.
Very good. Chip, any follow-up there? Any questions?
Yeah. I think on the topic of masterminding in general, Laurie brings up some really great points. And the main one that I would echo are that everyone comes from a different location, a different even position a little bit, as positions have differed and kind of migrated even since COVID, right? They have gone from you're doing this to now you're kind of doing something a little bit different as time goes by, because naturally our businesses have changed. And as we get together on the mastermind groups, everyone is sharing their best practices. And like Laurie says, we come out of it, so much stronger. But now it's like we have to have it each month because it's where we gain. We also kind of unleash a little bit of some of the issues that we're having, but then we learn from them. And Laurie, perfect examples. Yeah, thank you.
Laurie, what just to tap into your expertise, what is your practice doing now that you would share with maybe the Crown Council membership that's really making a difference, whether it's practice growth for you or team culture? Is there anything that you guys are doing now that you say that you would be willing to share?
Yeah, first of all, we've been with the Crown Council now for my daughter's 21, so 21 years.
Wow.
So we've, gained a lot of insight. I think that one of the things that, well, there's a lot that we do, and it also changes over the years. So right now we're really, quite frankly, delving into our core values. It's been something that as Steve and myself and the management team have been has been important to us for a long time. But over the last maybe year or so, we've really been working it more with our team. We've brought it more into our team meetings. We now have weekly team meetings for, believe it or not, 2 hours once a week. We do that because, since COVID, as you said, a lot has changed. People's positions, people's mindsets, the way that our team, just even the way that employees and the way that managers even just see the way life is very different. And this team meeting has really helped us, not just the morning huddle, we always do the morning huddle, but the team meeting has really helped us to really connect and hit issues head on before, so it's like, okay, this is a problem today, put it on the issues list, and then let's hit it on Wednesday, right? So things like that, things don't fester, so that's been really good. I'm going to tell you, we also started a team bonus program in
Nice.
January, a quarterly bonus program. We've probably gone through a gazillion different ones throughout the years, but the one we have now, we can get into another time, is just easy peasy. Everybody can look at it. Everybody has handle on it. Everybody knows exactly what it is. And everybody on the team has an equal, take on it. So that really has also put us all on the same page to say, are you leaving early or, is it ready to go? If you're ready to leave, maybe just the 10 extra minutes, will help us to get, more bonus, and so money isn't everything, but you know what? It plays a big part of it. And when people are being, when it's on that line, that's really made a difference, but we're all working together for it. So it really has brought the team together, like, okay, we're going to do this as a team. So it's like the hygienists don't get more than an assistant or the person answering the phone. Everybody is important. Every single person gets the same amount. So that's actually been really cool. What else are we doing that's been fantastic? Always the verbal skills, when we started with Crown Council and using DISC and things like that, not everybody was on the same page. It's hard to hire people, especially right after COVID, and bring in all that information. We're trying to do that more so that the team is on the same page again, because I don't know about other people, but you fall off. You just don't have the time in a day to share that. So getting back to basic skills, I guess that would be it. Getting back to basic skills has been great. So those are a couple of things.
Nice. Very good. No, those are great. Those are perfect right off the top of your head. That was awesome. Very good. Spence, any follow-up as we kind of wrap up? I know Laurie's got a take off here at quarter after, but go ahead.
The short thing that I'll add to that is, notice that the last two leaders that we have had on this call have been discussing and sharing some of the team group bonus opportunities and working together, but that they are so visual. Like Laurie said, they know how to attain the bonus opportunity as a team, and therefore they're working collectively together. We're hearing that trend of being just a major driver for not only culture, but opportunity inside of our real successful offices.
Nice.
Yeah.
Laurie, we are grateful for you. You guys are all stars, examples, and leaders for the rest of the group to look to. So thank you for all you do to make our group. That's how the group is better. So we're grateful for you and everything you do.
Yeah, well, the one thing I would say is, for people who are on masterminds, we always get a bunch of people and then people fall off. I would say make it a commitment. I mean, really make it a commitment. It helps you, but it's really, for the other people who, especially the people who are putting the masterminds together, be there for them too. You'll never sit in a mastermind and say, I never got anything. I didn't get anything out of it, ever.
Nice.
So, make the commitment.
Very cool. Laurie, I've got to ask, who is your furry creature climbing on the couch in the background?
Oh, well, there's two of them there. There's one on the floor. I don't know if you can see. There's one on the floor right there. That's Bella. That's Dax.
Okay.
And this is Boz.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Boz.
So he sits here. He likes to sit here on my coffee cup, believe it or not.
That is cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Very cute.
So,
all right.
Thanks.
Very good. Hey, thank you
All
very
right.
much for your time, Laurie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great
day.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for including me. Bye.
I'm a sucker for those furry creatures.
I know. Same
I
here.
saw that dog walk along the top of the couch. I'm like, oh, what is that? Very
So
good.
fun.
Hey, we're gonna our next guest, James, is already waiting in the wings. Maybe Chip, you could introduce. Do you want to introduce him as he's
Yeah.
coming in? So this is
Uh-huh.
James Ludlow. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is James Ludlow, and Addit is one of the Crown Council resource partners. We love having them on board. This is really just one software to manage your entire office with Addit. And James has been with us for a couple of years. James, welcome. We're so excited to
Welcome,
talk
James.
to you and share you with the Crown Council.
Hey, well, thank you. I'm excited to be here, guys. I really appreciate the time.
Very cool. You know, we're trying to morph away from resource partners coming on the live stream to sell their products. You know, that's like an easy thing to do. So I asked James to prepare a few things that resource partners are in an interesting position where they interact with hundreds, if not thousands of practices at any given time. And they can see what the best practices are doing. They can see what, I don't want to say terrible practices are doing, but I'm sure that over time, you kind of gain this incredible knowledge where a dental practice just, you know, they know themselves, they know that, but a resource partner sees so many different practices. And so we asked James to come prepared with what he's learned in the past year or over his career about some practice growth and opportunities that kind of connect with his business, what you guys do. And I keep wanting to say Reddit, because it's just that's not
it just rhymes.
It
You know,
just
that's the whole goal. We just want to rhyme it so everything connects.
Nice.
No, hey, I guess again, I'm super excited. I'm going to share my screen if that's all right.
Yeah, I think
Just so you can kind of see. All right, perfect. Well, instead of going to the full big screen, I'll keep it like this if that works. But so yeah, you guys are already laughing. You probably already know this movie, but I always like to draw some sort of analogy when I am talking because it just seems to make more sense. So for those of you that maybe know Jonah Hill, you probably recognize him from from Moneyball, the movie where he's just, yes, they just got the deal. They signed the player. But the thing I love about Moneyball is the way that it transformed baseball, right? The Oakland A's went from the bottom of the league to the top of the league. They had a 20 game win streak. They crushed it. And all of it was due to them digging into analytics, right? Using, basically taking Billy Beane and just really digging into numbers. And they didn't have the money that the big teams had, right? They had to work with what they had to be able to grow that team to what it became. And so the big things for me in that movie, which if you guys have seen it, is they disrupted how baseball players were evaluated, right? It was no longer the eye test. And they found the inefficiencies within that game and how people basically looked at getting players. And to me, the biggest and probably the most important thing, which is what you guys, really talk about, is taking action, right? They took the action to change that. And they truly went and dug their heels in. To me, a lot of times that is what kind of happens in the dental practice. We see it a lot where, we come up with these ideas and we say, yes, let's go for it. But we don't take that final action. We don't take that step, or we don't have those processes in place to actually affect that change. And a quote that I love is, you can't manage what you don't measure. And you guys mentioned, we do see a lot of that from being a resource partner and working with these practices. Sadly, a lot of practices, they have a great plan, right? They say, well, I'm going to say it, I didn't say it the right way. They have an idea, right? And they say, you know what, I'm doing $1 million worth of production. I want to do 1.3 million next year. But that was it, right? There was no plan. They aren't measuring anything apart from that. And so coming in with some form of measurement so that I can gauge where I am now to where I will be in the future becomes a really important part to that. And so for me, where we've tried to focus, and I'm a little lucky for those listening, my dad's a dentist in Salt Lake, and I've, sadly grown from dentistry. I'm one of those guys. So I've been in and out of it, not always by choice, but I've been able to see inside the practice a lot over my time, both from living in it as a kid and working in the practice to then working in that software side of the practice. And so where we look at things is, obviously improving practice profitability, always a goal. The second one is really creating getting rid of inefficiencies and creating practice efficiencies and creating a unique customer and patient experience, right? Helping them feel invited into that practice and making it easy for them to actually get appointments. And then the last part, this ties more to Addit, which is decreasing your overhead and helping consolidate, a lot of those systems that you're doing. And even me, me coming from the software side of it, you should be evaluating software every year, right? What's new in that market? Where are things adapting and changing to the current environment? So a big suggestion for me is for everybody, evaluate those softwares. Are they providing the value that you need from them on a yearly basis? So digging into improving practice profitability, obviously, number one, you're always trying to increase revenue, but a lot of that is finding those inefficiencies. And really the only way you can do that is really by knowing your numbers. I know it seems so easy, but building out those reports inside of Dentrix or Open Dental or Eaglesoft, sometimes it can get cumbersome. And you already have 1,000 other things you're trying to accomplish in a day. So sometimes these things get lost a little bit in the weeds. And so just being able to have some sort of system that makes it easy to actually find and get that information quickly. The next part for me is increasing production. And obviously this is always a major piece of the goal, but the part that's a lot of our practices that I've seen in the past and practices I've worked with in the past is they don't develop a goal, right? They set a number, but there's not goals or strategies to kind of accomplish that number. And then a lot of times they're not monitoring and managing the progress. For me, I look at this a lot like a GPS. I'm sure all of us have a smartphone now, so we use GPS constantly, but a GPS is a fantastic tool unless you don't have a destination, right? If I don't have a destination, it does not help me at all, right? It's just sitting there showing me I'm going around in a circle or I'm moving one place to another, but it doesn't give me the actual directions to get to where I want to go. So a lot of times I look at the practice and we've got to get away from not having that destination, not setting where we don't set direct goals. We don't implement strategies to actually accomplish those things. And the last part for me is increasing collections, right? And a lot of that has to do with getting paid faster, making it easier for patients to pay us, and doing all those simple things that we want to accomplish in the practice, but having it easy and streamlined for both our staff members to do, but also the patient to do. So with that, the big things that I always see are having a way to really quickly analyze in a morning huddle what our day goals are, what we have coming in the door, what we have from treatment that we have offered to a patient, but they maybe didn't accept, being able to know exactly what we need to do with that patient today. And then the other part is really falling into the rest of my team members, right? Of these patients walking in, what do we need to focus on? Are they a new patient? What forms do we need to get them? What do we need to, or do they have an outstanding balance? Do they have family members, right? And having all the information right in my fingertips, so it's not us digging through and diving to find that information. The next part obviously ties a lot more to that GPS analogy where I can see the analytics quickly, right? Being able to know, are we on a good trajectory? Are we following the right lines? Are we doing well in the simple things like hygiene reappointments, right? And case acceptance for hygiene and fluoride and everything else that we're offering to these patients. Again, simple tools to be able to manage that information. And then to me, that last part, which was increasing collection speed, right? Being able to offer quicker ways to actually accept payments, whether that's in a text to pay form or having a tool. Maybe one of the things that I've been talking a lot about for offices is those patients that constantly no-show, they're in their third and fourth no-show an appointment, having them pre-pay an appointment, right? Hey, not something we do for everybody, but in this case, we are going to make you prepay. This is something we offer or require now with offices. So those are some of the big things that we kind of talk about and that I like to look at in the practice to see where can we help with those efficiencies and inefficiencies. to help dive into growth and production and marketing goals. The other part that I kind of talk about is that whole patient experience, which is you look at the demographic today and what those key drivers are for consumers. And, you know, a lot of times we kind of think it falls under the cost level, right? We think, oh, that's why somebody's coming to us, that, you know, we're driving a lower cost. But the number one driver they found between 2020 and 2022 was people gravitated towards convenience. They want a easy way to get to you. And sadly, we're in a drive-through generation, right? We expect service right now. We expect it to come in a second. And we don't want to wait for something. So the convenience factor is a really big factor. And the next thing that was the driver was actually quality, and then it went to cost. So we're in a space where we're technically in a space where cost is not the driver for somebody, right? Convenience and quality are really those two things. So how do we provide that type of service for an office? And you think of the things that we're using today, right? I'm sure most of you are using some of these, right? You're using an Amazon or Netflix or Spotify, and it's all about the convenience factor. Even Uber, DoorDash, and for those of you that are still maybe in the dating world, you might be on Tinder and swiping left or right to find a match, right? But that's where our generation is, right? This is where sadly we kind of are. So we have to adapt those practices to that. And with that, that's where, you know, we are looking at simple things that can save time in automating specific items like a check-in process, allowing online scheduling for offices, right? To be able to make a patient easily get into our practice. Integrating forms, right? Being able to send a text message out that has a form that they can go in and fill out and actually have that information right back into the practice management software. So again, saving a lot of time for the staff and your team members. And then the last part, right, is making sure they're getting a reminder for that appointment that they have scheduled with you, right? Making sure that they're always aware of it. And with that, obviously a phone system that does tie into your systems does make it very easy, because now I know from a trading perspective, and I'm sure all of you have felt this, I know we have at my dad's practice, staffing has not been the easiest thing in the world the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And so training new staff members becomes very difficult at times, where the whole process, if I can get a system that does make it easy so that when a patient calls in, we know exactly who the patient is. We know if they have outstanding balances, if they have an upcoming appointment, and it takes away the question of maybe I've got 2 or 3 James Ludlows, you know, in my patient list. I'm not having to ask you a secondary detailed question and say, okay, hey, what's your address? Or what's this, to be able to identify who that patient is. I've sat on some of those calls when we've hired somebody new, and I'm like, oh, you're killing me. Even I recognize that patient's voice. They've been here for 20 years. Like, we want to reduce that friction point within the practice.
Nice.
And the last thing, because I know I'm running on time, is really decreasing overhead and consolidating and saving money. And this is where evaluating your softwares is a really good time to do this every year. And, you know, again, we kind of put this out because we do offer a lot of tools, and you probably are using many of these, or maybe multiple of these. And so we really want to make it cost effective for a practice to be able to utilize a system that can bring a lot of these tools in one setting, so that you don't have to operate out of maybe 2 or 3 different ones.
Yeah.
And just, you know, just so you have it, this is just pricing, but really, I don't want this to be a sales at all, like you guys mentioned, really focusing on these core categories of improving your efficiencies, improve your patient experience. I want this to be helpful more than anything. Of maybe these are items that practices aren't looking at right now that they should be looking at. And there's a lot of tools and systems out there that can help you do that. And some of the systems you might be on have a tool within them that you could probably utilize. So that's where I want to make sure I kind of help identify some of those solutions for the practice, so they can, you know, really, for anyone out there, you guys can look at what the options are that can really help you grow the practice.
Yeah.
for what you're doing.
I love the patient experience aspect. As I just went to the dentist yesterday, it really is something that, as a practice, you have to step outside for just every once in a while and say, what is this like for people coming here? And, you look at the ease of some of the technology that is used by basic businesses, like you just talked about. It's like DoorDash, dude, so easy. And it's like, why wouldn't my dental practice be just as easy to book an appointment, submit a form? I mean, yesterday, I was 10 minutes late to my appointment, and they were texting me like it was, and I'm like, yes, I'm on my way. I mean, but it was so efficient for that patient experience. So I love that part of your business. Just watching like the images, it was like beautiful too. It was like really pretty. Is that how it really looks?
That actually is how it looks.
Okay, good.
Yes, looking at it, that is how it looks. So I had to give a little plug here and there, but no, honestly, it is one of those times we are in a weird time, right? Like I discussed, where it is a drive-through generation, right?
Yeah.
Everyone expects things on demand. So
Yeah, it's all right.
helping turn the practice towards that is a good thing.
Yeah.
I watched a video, somebody spoke yesterday at a conference where they were talking about they were showing the time difference of NASCAR, right? And how it went from a minute 30 from when that car pulled in to getting tire change, oil and everything to less than 3 seconds.
Dang.
Like that's a crazy shift over a 20-year span.
Yeah.
But that's where dental is, right? We've got to adapt our processes to what the industry is looking for, what the patient's looking for.
Yeah.
So
Chip, any questions?
Yeah, I think we have focused a lot. We've talked a little bit about what the patients gain from using Addit, but just to bring it back a little bit about how the offices are utilizing Addit. Most important for our crew listening in here, you've been hearing these words like a team huddle in the morning. Well, to be able to have access to all the metrics just at your fingertips from Addit, super helpful. Yeah. We've had in the last 2 weeks, we've talked about long-term goals for offices to hit metrics that get to go on these fun vacations and trips. Addit's software just supplies that detail so you can easily outline what's coming. And it is a pain to log into so many different softwares to pull all of this, whereas Addit is almost like a one-stop. You've got it all. So that's what I would add to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say one thing on forms, because forms are always a big topic, and you just mentioned it, Spencer, about the in office, that setting, right? Being able to help my staff. That's a huge one, because a lot of this goes out via text, and that patient can actually fill it out, and it will actually put that information back into Open Dental or Eaglesoft or Dentrix. So I don't have to take the time, because I've done that where I've had to try to read somebody's handwriting and type it back in. It flows it through. That part, I mean, that time saving, it's almost incalculable sometimes for the staff.
Yeah.
So
reading hieroglyphics, it's not part of your job.
Especially if you're working with another doctor, it's the worst. Just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding, all you guys out there.
Nice. Hey, I'm gonna share my screen, and hopefully it's the right screen that I share.
Yeah.
This is the Crown Council website. So this is my directory on crowncouncil.com. And if you're new to this is a very simple thing. I'm going to scroll to the bottom because I know where it is. This is the Resource Partner Hub. Should be in everybody's portal. And if you scroll down here, we've got all of our different categories. So all the different things that resource partners do inside Crown Council. And we'll find Addit right there at the top of marketing and patient communications. And if you click here, this is basic information that you can connect with James, phone number, obviously website. All that information looks good, James?
Yeah, honestly, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. Yeah, that's my cell. So, that's my office number. If you want my cell, I'm happy to put it in there if anybody needs.
I'd love to send you texts.
Anytime.
All right. Cool, James. Thanks so much, man. Grateful you join us.
Hey, appreciate it, everyone. Have a
Thanks,
great rest of
James.
your day and weekend.
Yep.
Hey, thanks.
See you
See ya.
later.
Dang, that's slick.
It is.
Very, very efficient. Very
Mhm.
awesome. All right, very good. We're gonna finish up. I did a little interview yesterday with Marcus Stones. He's a Crown Council member that's been with us for years, probably close to 10 years. He talks about how he joined Crown Council and how he was introduced to the group. But recorded here, he did it during his lunch break, which I'm sure, when I asked docs to join us, a lot of them are like, like, I can't join you at 11 during the day. So we recorded this, and I'm going to play it from my computer. And it's just a short interview with him about how he's achieved some of his success in his practice. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see that okay? Am I black? Okay, I'm going to play it. All right, welcome to our Crown Council Live. This is a recorded version with Dr. Marcus Stones. Welcome, Dr. Stones.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, grateful to have you. Except look at your name on the broadcast there, Little Fella Stones. Is that a permanent name that you keep on your screen?
Little fella is what they call me. I think I'm inch shy of being able to get a blue handicap sticker so I can park close to the building.
Nice. Me and Marcus were together last week. His daughter married one of my really good friends. So he traveled to Salt Lake City, and I said to myself, what a perfect time to interview him, talk about his practice, his life. I really admire Marcus, the way he balances, and just what a good man he is, the family and practice that he's created. It's worth sharing. That's why Crown Council is so awesome, as mentors like Marcus are willing to share and teach everybody what he's doing. So does that sound fair? We good to go?
We're good to go.
Nice, man. So maybe just share a little bit about where you are, size of your practice, and just kind of basic information about what you do.
Okay, so I practice in Salem, Oregon. It's about 40 minutes south of Portland. I bought this place right out of dental school. There was a gentleman here that suddenly passed away during my senior year of school. And so he passed away in April, and we don't take the boards until June. So there were several months that the practice had to be kept afloat. Two good friends of his kept the practice alive by coming in a couple times a week. But for about 3 to 4 months, there was a lot of limbo to the practice. What was going to happen? We feel really fortunate. We met the former dentist's wife, and she felt like we'd be a good fit to fill that spot. And so she offered us the position to buy the practice. And we've been here 20 years in 2 days.
Dang,
So,
man. Nice.
been quite a roll. And it's a single dental practice. I've practiced solo my whole career. I think there are things that I probably miss where I would enjoy working with somebody else, but there's a lot of freedom in what I do. And I like what I do. I love dentistry. It's been a great profession. And but I'll tell you, for that first year coming right out of school, I was nervous every day coming to practice, because it was like, oh, can I pull this off? Can I do it?
What did you use, or how did you guide your philosophy of care? Did you have mentors? Did you have books? Like, how did you determine how your practice was going to be run and the culture of what you were going to create?
It took some time to develop, but when I first got here, I noticed that the dentist that I purchased from, the philosophies that I have are similar. Okay. And that made it easy to transition, because I inherited a very mature staff. They were considerably older than I was. They'd been here forever. The dentist pretty much just gave them the ability to tell him where to be, where to go, and what to do. But that was tough, because I'm a hands-on guy. I like to know what's going on. And it was a difficult transition from the standpoint that I had to let some things go and just realize, trust these people. They can teach you a lot. The staff was fantastic, but little by little, a couple of them had life changes, and so they moved on. But the most important thing that I think I did, and we did reasonably well, is we didn't make any drastic changes in the first year or two. that could have been pretty tough on the staff, but most importantly, the patients. And with the practice being kind of in limbo for a few months, we couldn't quite evaluate what the attrition was going to be in the practice, how many people wanted to stick around. In a smaller community like Salem, there's a lot of other dentists that go to our church that some of the patients may have opted to just leave, and we wouldn't know that they would have left for a good 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So our goal was to be consistent, be kind, stand out from the standpoint that, hey, we're here. We came from a great school with a lot of great training, and you'll get wonderful care. We just had to match that with the business skills I didn't quite know yet. So,
and what do you think now? With the success of your practice now, what is it that draws people to you? Not only the team that stays with you, but the patients that come to you. What is it that sets you apart in the market?
I would say the biggest thing is that we try to be super genuine here at our office. We want to be kind. We want to match how we feel inside with how we interact with our patients. We have a blast here at the office. We have a big philosophy is, if it ain't fun, go home. This is a place to have fun, and dentistry for a lot of people is not fun. So I have 3 jokes. I think I share them with every patient every day. They're really good ones, but
Nice.
we laugh a lot here in the office, and it's great to hear a patient say, I have never had so much fun in a dental office and I can't stand going here. And yet they love to come back. So we like that personal touch. I think a lot of the big box dental outfits out there, they can't provide that. There's too much changeover. There's not a lot of personal connection. And we really find that that's a nice touch. We still call every new patient the night before, let them know that they're welcome to the office. If I can answer questions,
Nice.
do such. We find that's a touch. I still write welcome to the office handwritten cards every time they come. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
With paper and pen.
with paper and pen. And, you try to write something a little special in each one, but they're kind of stock, but I find that who gets a card from anyone else? I think that sets us apart as
Great touch.
the little things. They don't call me a little fella for nothing, right?
Nice. Hey, I'd love to talk about your doing good strategy. You're always involved in Smiles for Life. You guys have raised over $35,000 for Smiles for Life whitening. I know you've been on humanitarian trips. How does doing good factor into your practice?
I wish we would have started some of this a lot sooner. We love the Smiles for Life campaign. We support the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We had a nephew who tragically passed away from a brain tumor, but he was supported by their organization. And we feel giving back, is the right thing to do. There's more to life than, dentistry and coming into work every day. There's a lot of people in need. And with some of our favorite things have been going to the Dominican Republic. I've had a chance to go on 2 trips.
Nice.
And I've been able to take 3 of my 4 kids, it's been great. I wish I would have started younger going to those trips. You don't think you can afford it. It takes a bit to plan, but it comes back to you tenfold, and just being a better person and seeing the world of others through a different lens. So my wife and I kind of have it a goal to go every couple years. This last trip, we had 2 of our kids, and then sister-in-law and her son. And that boy, struggles with a lot of depression and a lot of challenges. And to see him in a foreign land helping others, it's what it's about. We change
Nice.
lives with them, within ourselves. I think that's where the biggest change comes from. And, we've done locally the Mission of Mercy, which is huge. You service your own community, and I've taken staff to that, and man, you just feel better, doing things that are good. I mean, you can't come away from those things thinking that, hey, life is really good. And if you can share it, do it with a smile.
I love that. Well, maybe advice to other doctors looking for balance. I from the outside, it looks like you're very well balanced. Work, play, family. I think you've got a great kind of philosophy when it comes to balance. Is there anything that guides you there or advice you'd give?
You know, work is work. It's not everything. You know, there's a lot more important things than coming to work every day. And I think one of those is your own family. You better spend some good time with them, because that's, you know, where it becomes most important. But we have, I practiced for 5 days a week for many years, but Friday's fun day. Growing up in a home where Sunday was valued as a sacred day, you don't go out and play and do other things. I always missed having a 2-day weekend. So Friday, Saturday is my weekend now.
Nice.
But we, you know, my wife and I, we love to golf. We play almost every Friday and Saturday. We've gotten our kids into it. Love to go out and fish. I act like I like to ride a bike. It's tough, but you sometimes got to do hard things. You know, you gotta teach your kids that there's more important things than just getting an education and going to work every day. One of the best things I've found with this profession, hopefully some of the younger dentists listening, is never miss an opportunity to be at your kids' activities. You have a chance in this kind of profession to work your schedule as such that you can be there for anything that they have. Don't miss it, because it goes fast. We're down to our last 2 kids at home, and it's gone really quick. I have 2 kids that are now married, and before long, those kids are off on their own. So,
Yeah.
you know, we do a lot of goofing off. We love to play. You know,
Nice.
there's
I
no
love
doubt.
it. Hey, as we wrap up, I always kind of ask this same question, which is, if you were to meet young Marcus back when he's right out of dental school, any advice or things you would do different if you had that opportunity to talk to your younger self?
You know, I would say don't be afraid to fail. I'm one that likes to do things right the first time and not have to repeat it, but it's okay. You know, failure's fine. Get all the CE you can when you're young, because, you know, there are times where it's difficult to fit in maybe CE because life gets busy. Things happen. But enjoy what you do, because going to work every day, not liking what you do, is a drag. Now, I felt like we've listened to that counsel quite well. But, you know, we got affiliated with TOPS a little over 10 years ago. And that was probably the best thing we could have done. Actually, I was at, what was it? It was a full mouth reconstruction course in Las Vegas with Marv Staggs, Utah Valley Lab, and PDR Lab here locally. And I met Chris Hammond there, met Dr. Hammond, and they talked about the Crown Council and what it's done for them. And I think Steve Anderson spoke. And it was that we learned, hey, there's bigger and better things out there that we can tap into that can make us better at what we do. Took me over 10 years to, actually it was about 8 years to get to that point. I think using mentors early in your career is valuable. Don't be too proud to learn something new from somebody who's already been there. Don't reinvent the wheel. Try not to be something you're not, you know. Be genuine. Those are the things that I would tell myself. You know, because coming right out of school and purchasing a place is difficult. It's not the common thing anymore. You know, most people come out and practice in big box places, you know, and that's fine. That works. But if you have an opportunity to do your own thing, trust yourself. You got the skills. People will be drawn to you if you treat them well.
Very cool. Hey, shameless plug. You never miss an annual event. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe just tell everybody why you come to the annual event, what's it good for, and any thoughts on attending a Crown Council annual event. Shameless plug.
Okay, you got to go. I missed the first few when I first was with the Crown Council. There was always something that I could find an excuse to make up to not go. My first one was in Utah. My wife couldn't go, so I took my 16-year-old daughter, who just got married this last weekend.
Nice.
And she was sitting in that meeting going, what
is this?
Just like a big Amway convention or what? But she still to this day will walk around and say, hey, you walk like a 10, you talk like a 10, you get what you want, you deserve it. She learned some great things, but most importantly, you learn to be a better person. I love those events. We do our very best to make each one. I know this next one's in Salt Lake. If you've never been to Salt Lake, beautiful city, great place to take your skis, come to the classes. You'll learn a lot from others that have done some pretty hard and tough things and have been there, and you can really glean some amazing, some amazing, I'll say, perspective in life. And take some staff. This is the first year I'm taking staff.
Nice.
In the past, I've only come with my wife. And while that's good, I think your staff needs to know why you come away from these things feeling so good. It's hard to capture that energy and bottle it up and bring it home. Take them with and let them enjoy it as well. But I
Very
love
cool.
it.
Nice.
So bring your skis this year, guys. We're gonna go up to Deer Valley and tear it up, or wherever we go. Maybe Snowbird.
Start praying for snow. This will be your ninth annual event. So grateful to have you at it's always fun to connect and not only be with you, everybody. I wish I could spend more time personally with everybody at the annual event. I kind of feel like I'm running around with my head cut off, but it's always fun to see you for a minute. So
because you're running the show. Well, Stuart, you've always been good to me, and I don't know, sometimes we just need to hang out more.
Yeah, man. Leadville 2023. Let's do it together.
Okay, you need to get me in, because on my accolades, they'll say sorry.
Sorry, pal.
There's another year for you.
All right, brother. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hey, happy to do it. Thanks so much. I appreciate you taking the time with me.
So good.
That's a good guy. So really cool from Marcus. Anything you took away from that trip? Anything you heard that was worth remembering?
I think the trusting yourself, Stu, we have 60 plus new young dentists per year joining Crown Council, wondering, what should I do? How should I do it? And he just said, you've got the skills, trust
it.
Yeah.
I love that. It was interesting to hear him say that, it took him 10 years to go find some mentors and people that will kind of guide him and coach him along. It would be tough to start a practice and buy that on your own and kind of launch that career, because that is rare. I would say he is right. There's very few who are willing to just jump into buying a new practice now. So brave of him. He's learned a lot over the last 20 years. So anyway. And he's completed Leadville 3 times. So wow. all my respect for the Leadville 100 mountain bike race. Very good, Marcus. All right, man. That's all I've got for today, unless you've got anything else.
So good. Great session today.
Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate it.